I've made this ear warmer for a market that I have the end of May, but I thought it's such a beautiful pattern, especially with the free colors, that I need to show you how to do this. It is called the Sedge Stitch. I did use it in the video where I've showed people how to do an activity blanket. So there I've suggested two um, patterns that can be used for the background of a blanket. This is ideal for blanket because it's dense, but it's soft, it's stretchy, it's really lovely. I'm going to now show you how to do this. It's real easy, so it's actually so beginner friendly. What is also so lovely about this pattern that it's one row repeating. You always start with the same stitches and you always end with the same stitch. And then also the fact that you use free colors means that you do not have loose ends. You will have the free at the beginning when you start the headband, and then you will have the free at the end, of which one you will surely keep long to use it as a sewing tail. I have done another textured headband also. I've given the dimensions there. You just need to remember that dimensions are always just a guide. Whenever possible, if you make it for a specific person, rather have the measurement of the head circumference, because then you know it will fit well. I have leftover yarns with which I want to crochet. It's actually not totally left over because sometimes I like to have a variety of colors when I do small projects or when I want to do it, use it in granny squares or any kind of square. But these I had, they are all double knit, so you can use from a 3.5 millimeter hook to a 4 millimeter hook and even a bigger hook size. So I'm going to use the 4 millimeter hook and let us start. Good, so we start with a slip knot first. There are so many ways to do a slip knot. That's just one of them. So there I have the slip knot, and now you need to have a multiple of 3 stitches. Now for this I definitely want 12 stitches, and then you need 3 more for the base chain. So here we go. So that's the 12, and now 3 more for the base chain. For this one, I'm not going to crochet in the back loops because it does not actually make a difference at the end. So let us start. You have to skip 2 of these chain stitches and you make a half treble into the third one from the hook. So you go into the third chain, as maybe I must just show you, that's the first, that's the second, so you need to go in here into the third chain. Yarn over, that's a half treble. I will give the United States terminology on screen. Then you yarn over and pull through all 3, and then you make a treble or US DC. Like that. Then you skip 2 chain stitches at the bottom, and in the next one you make a DC, a half treble where you yarn over first, go in, yarn over again, you have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3, and in that same stitch you also need to make a treble. That's yarn over, go into the work, yarn over again and pull it through. You have 3 loops, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. Then you skip again 2 chain stitches here at the bottom into the third one. So there's one, there's another one. Into the third one, you make again a DC, a half treble, and a treble. Then you skip again 2, 1, 2. Into that one, you make again a DC, a half treble, and a treble. Then you skip again 2, and in the last one you just make a DC. But you do not now yarn over for the final one. You now use the next color. Here I have the new color, and now I can yarn over with the new color and pull through these 2 loops. Then I turn. Because I know I'm going to still crochet along the edge, I will make a little chain stitch here before I make a DC. Then I make a DC into this first stitch, and then a half treble, and then a treble. You can always pull this a bit tighter here at the end. Then you skip again 2 stitches. There's the 2 loops of the first one. There are the 2 loops of the next one. And here you get to the third one. So in that one, you make a DC, half treble. Oopsie, I've split the yarn, and a treble. Skip 2 again into the next one. DC, half treble, treble. Skip again 2 into this one. DC, half treble, treble. Then you get to the last one. Now that was where from at the base you did 2 turning chains. So it's only here that you will have to go into the top chain and do the last DC. From the next round you will have DCs both ends. So there we go. And now we don't yarn over the final yarn over with this color. We take the new color. We have the new color here. So you put it there and you yarn over with the new color. Turn, make 1 chain stitch, and then into this first stitch you will make a DC and a half treble and a treble. Pull this tight. Now you skip again 2 stitches. They're quite easy to see, and into the third one you again make DC, half treble and a treble. Skip 2, DC, half treble, treble. Skip 2, DC, half treble, treble. Skip the last 2, and now it will be easy because there you can see the DC at the end, and now you yarn over. But the final yarn over will be again with this dark gray color. What you will see now at the end of this row, that you have the 2 loose ends, but also you have this one that you just finished with, and this one that you can now start a new row with. So you just bring it up and yarn over and pull through with the new color. Then you turn. Then you can always just close this one a little bit, and you make sure that the new color, the dark gray, because there you will see the loop lying there, that you didn't pull it too tight. Good. Then a chain stitch. Then into this first DC, you're going to make a DC, a half treble, and a treble. Then you skip again 2. It's now harder for you to see with the black, but it will be quite easy to see when you have it in front of you. So you go into that one, make a DC, half treble and a treble. I'm sure you get it now. It's every time. Skip 2 stitches. So skip again to DC, half treble, treble. The last yarn over you need to do with this color that's now this side, because this one you have just finished with, and you will see here is the next color. So it's real easy now when you have 3 colors. It doesn't work with 2, but it works excellently with 3. I'm just so excited about this pattern with 3 colors. Let me just pull this to this side. And again, you just make sure that the new color, you didn't pull it up too tight, but there you can see the loop. You can see that this was a more chunky yarn that has now, with 4 of these, made a wider headband. And now here I also have 1, 2, 3, 4 of the pattern, because I've used 12 stitches and then 3 more. The 12 stitches, so that means with 6 you will just have that. With 9 you will just have that, because remember now it's actually 6 plus then 3, or 9 plus 3, or 12 plus 3. I've done now the one side of the ribbing. I'm going to show you now how I do it, but look at this pattern. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? How it shows texture. When you do it in one color, you actually don't see the beauty of this stitch. I did go and Google and read in a few sites on the internet, because I didn't want to overstep the line if there's maybe copyright on this pattern. And they did say this stitch was developed and popularized by individual designers rather than attributed to a single specific creator. So it's not associated with a specific designer or an inventor, and therefore one can use it. So that is why I could show you this. Now I want to show you how to crochet the other part of the ribbing. I have stitched the 2 sides together here. I've used black yarn. Just see that when you stitch it up, that you have continuation of the color pattern. The stitch is quite stretchable here. You can see how it can stretch, although it's a soft, dense pattern. So that makes it ideal actually for an ear warmer. And then also the ribbing will help to sort of keep it to shape, and then you can just stretch it. While if you do then, like in the other one, an etching just with DCs and then my little etching, it surely keeps it in, and then the middle part will be harder to stretch. So it's, for me, sometimes better to use like a ribbing at the both ends of your ear warmer. Good. So let us now start. So what I've done with the ribbing, and what I always tend to do, is I use a smaller hook size. I've crocheted this with a number 4. So now I've used a number 3 for this. So I will start here. It seems there I've sewn it up, and I couldn't last night actually find the place where I've sewn it up. So I'll rather now here opposite where I've started the other one, I'll here in the same spot start also this ribbing. So just first insert and draw a loop through. And then for this purpose here, I would rather now make a DC here, that I just don't have a loop that's just floating around. And then I can just remove this. I'm going now to use 5 chain stitches, and then my ribbing will be 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I make the DC into the second chain from the hook, and just 4 DCs back. So you must see what hook size works the best for you. Like I've tried the 3.5 and then I decided to go for the 3. Now what I've seen here is I'm going to do the slip stitches, the first one into the same space where I have started with. So a slip stitch, and then I just find any space further on where I slip stitch it in. You will see that you will have these long loops where I actually do slip stitches twice in. And it makes an opening at that stage, you can see there, but once you put the headband on, you will not be able to see these openings. Then let me just use the loose end out of the way, then I turn the work like this. And now I surely skip the first two that were just two slip stitches and in the back loop. If you look, there are two loops here. You need to take the loop furthest away from you in the back loop. So that loop there, and you make a DC. And then again, 2, 3, and the fourth one. Then I turn, I give it one chain, and now in this first DC again in the back loop. So in the loop furthest away from me, I make a DC. Three, 4. And then I go into the same space with a slip stitch, and then I go here into the next space for slip stitch. This yarn is just that it's already, the fibers look already as if they are split, so it's then a bit harder to crochet with a smaller hook size, but I've found that it works the best. There are my 2 slip stitches, so now DC's into the last 4, back loop only. Turn the work, chain 1, and then 4 DC's. I have the label here in place where I want it to be, and now there's a knot at the end of my sewing tail, and I will just now go and here somewhere at the inside, put it here under this label, the knot, that it's just somewhere there hidden, like that, and then I will go from the top down. It's just easier then to find it this side. There it comes through, and now I'll give it about 3 stitches, as much as what the size of this little holes can allow me. I think 3 will be enough. So there I'm on the 3rd one, and now I just turn it here, and I would go here through to the other end. There you can see. Then I go again to the front first. So let me just come up here somewhere, and now I just need to push the label in this side as well. That it sits snugly here, it must fit in there. Here we go. And now I can sew this also on. I'm very tempted to take this one for myself, because when we go in June's down to the Cape Province, it's cold and rainy, and then it's quite lovely if you go for a walk to have an ear warmer. We here in Durban are not used to that really cold temperatures. Our winters are absolutely lovely, that we just wear one single thin layer of clothes. Good. This is the middle back where I've sewn the two ends together. So now I'll turn it, and I'll also give this a label somewhere here at the side. If you want to do this edging, it was just DCs that I've spaced out, and then I have crocheted a border with a smaller hook size again, and just slip stitch into a DC, one chain stitch, slip stitch into the next DC, one chain, and like that I did go all around. So just for this last round, take a far smaller hook size, like a drop one hook size at least.